Yes.
All right.
Yeah, come on. Hello. All right.
You are like a child. I didn't know you were going to do that.
I'm pumped now. Thank you for the welcome, guy. I think that's because last week this was such a banging live stream, frankly, that everyone's pumped for it. So, and I am as well. So, yeah. So, hello, welcome to the Sunday night Reef Dork live stream, the Prestige Reef Dork show. Now, I'm going to foreshadow this because I'm not foreshadow this, but this is going to be an hour long tonight rather than the usual 2 hours because I'm feeling a bit unwell and I've passed on my lurgies to Ryan because I went to visit his farm yesterday. So that means you're gonna.
He said, "I'm feeling a bit ill today." I'm like, "Yeah, me too."
I know, but I'm going to be. So you're going to probably be coughing a bit as well. But we'll get stuck straight into this because today we're going to be rating corals. So we did this with rating fish the other week, 2 weeks ago, I think. I just found it so interesting. And so what I found with this, we've both drawn up a list, Ryan, and I found that we did a list of corals we like and corals we don't like.
Yeah.
And I found it really easy to list corals I don't like, bizarrely, and a bit more difficult to list corals I do like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I agree, actually. You almost start with the corals you don't like list. Because when I was doing this, when I was thinking about the list, I was thinking, like, what am I showing people corals that I like? Am I showing people corals that they might like? Am I showing people corals like that? It's difficult because, as I said to you just a minute ago, but obviously not everyone would know this. Well, no one would know this other than us. The corals on these lists are not good or bad corals. They are based on our opinion. And you might have had a good experience with something like a Scully or a Scolymia, whereas I might have had a bad experience. So it's down to our personal preference, really. Anything, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's the main thing with this is, and this is really important to say, is that this is actually all corals are beautiful, and even corals that I find really boring, like Capnella, Kenya tree. If you've got a healthy Kenya tree in nice water parameters with the right flow, the right lighting, and I see you looking at me like that, any coral, especially in proper conditions.
Yeah.
So if you forget buying expensive corals, get your water right, any coral will look awesome.
I mean, if you put a Kenyan tree in a tank by itself, next to a rubbish bin, I agree, it will look amazing. But
fair enough, Ryan. Well, you can't please all of the people all the time. But the other thing to say is, of course, and this I think this goes without saying, but I'll say anyway, just because why not? Is that just because if Ryan and I say we don't like a coral or we do like a coral, doesn't mean you shouldn't like it either, of course, or you should like it just because we do. This is all about, the whole point of this is it's really interesting to see what personal preference is and what people like and what people don't like.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing the poll. Can we do polls on this one?
Oh yeah. So not through the software, but yeah. I've got the polls will be coming up.
Oh, so we can do it on this software. Okay. Because I'd be interested, because for something like Tropic Thunder, you'll say, I don't want it, it's awful, but I reckon loads of people would like it. So
we'll come on to that because that is on my list. Okay, so we're going to crack on with this.
Yes.
And the first thing to say is, so I did ask members for suggestions, and the suggestions that came up were from Anthony Holland, who said flower pot corals, i.e. Goniopora. They are on the list to discuss. Excuse my jumper.
Yes.
And Morgan Stern 430, who wanted to know about pretty but invasive species like Xenia, GSP, Tropic Thunder, and they are all on my list or our list as well. So, Ryan, whilst I remove my jumper, hit us with your first coral and tell us whether you like it or don't like it.
So this was actually this was the very first coral I put on this list, and I assume that it's probably it must be one of my favorite corals. It's very difficult for me. I see so many corals, so I struggled quite badly doing this list because I see so many of them. But the first coral I put down was Trachyphyllia. I love Trachyphyllias.
Okay.
Why are you saying? Why are you laughing?
I was about to say, is this a coral you like or don't like? That's on my list of corals I don't like.
See, this is what I mean. Because you're going to have a load of corals on your list, which I will go, to. I already know you're going to have some sort of Acropora on there, and I'm just like, Whereas I started to realize when I was writing the list, I actually prefer LPS corals to SPS corals, which is interesting because I used to have an all SPS tank. So since the coral farm, I've actually migrated over from an all SPS tank to actually preferring LPS corals, which is not going to go down well when I get my angelfish.
Indeed. And actually, the other thing I should say, and I'll bring up an image of a here we go. So I visited your coral farm yesterday. And
Yes.
took a load of short clips of corals and stuff. And they're video clips, but I'm going to pause them because, well, just because it's better. And so these are, and hello, Stephanie, Queen of Reefers in the house. Good evening. So these are trackies, and it's not that I don't like them. It's just I don't really. People love them, and I'm like, they're all right. But tell us why you love them.
Well, the one you've shown there is actually a very, very special one. That is, someone offered me £1,000 to buy that trackie.
Someone offered you that?
Yeah, someone literally, and they would have paid it. It wasn't like I'll give you £1,000. It was, I want to buy this. Here's £1,000 for that Trachyphyllia. That one is a half and half one, where it appears you can see the green half actually grows faster than the red half. It happened in the ocean. It's naturally grafted. I assume it happened on a very cellular basis, but I just love Trachyphyllias. I like that they I don't know, they move a little bit. They're quite interesting colors. You just get a feeling for things sometimes, don't you? I can't describe why I like it. I just like it. So
I find them a little bit. So that one in the middle is, to be fair, a pretty banging Scully. And actually, I wish the one to it.
That's a Trachy.
Trachy, sorry. So the one next to it is the typical kind of what I would say a boring Trachy. It's a shame I didn't video the two below because those two actually look quite nice.
I've had them for a long time, but they seem to be an acquired taste. Some people like them, some people don't. But I'm in no rush to sell corals because I don't really kill corals, so I just appreciate the one they're here. So
indeed. Well, and yeah, so and I remember you posted these ages ago when you got them in. And I was like, and I couldn't find them all on your website. And I spoke to you, and you're like, oh, I've put like 10 up.
Yeah,
or something. And I was like, but I want to see the nice ones. But anyway, but yeah, so, but what I don't get is even with, so that rainbow one at the bottom there.
Yeah.
That is, and by the way, with this, so this, I took my fancy proper video camera.
Yeah.
To get with an orange lens, but my intention was to get the best representation of what the coral looks like to my eye. So this is not an exaggeration. It's not an under exaggeration or an over exaggeration. But what I find with, excuse me, like the one at the bottom that is described, you would probably describe that as rainbow Trachy.
Yeah.
Because it's got, you can see blue, red, green, yellow, maybe a lot of colors, and they're all bleeding into each other. I just think they're a little bit drab, those colors. They're like off red and off green. And
I would, if I could, I would have an entire tank where there was no sand on the bottom and it was just all covered in Trackies. Because when they're all together, they look amazing. But it's just one of those. I understand. I appreciate why that would be an acquired taste. But you'll see. Let's see what the poll says.
Well, I'm just posting the poll up now. So we're going to go simple.
They get massive. They get huge Trackies. So it's like Trackies can be signature pieces in someone's tank. Yeah. So if you're buying one, it's like all of a sudden you have a showpiece when it's a big piece. And they're pretty hardy as well. The only thing that I've found usually kills Trackies is low nutrients. They don't like they don't like low nutrients at all. It's
typical LPS coral.
Yes, yeah.
They look like they've got Botox. Not for me, says Les. And we're looking 76% likey though, and 24% no likey.
Oh, that's interesting because I can't see the polls this time, so they don't show up on mine.
I've got it. So I've got it on a YouTube page. So I've got YouTube open separately.
Oh, I see.
So it's looking good. And all right, but so I'm going to end the poll there then. Actually, you went up to 80%. Wow. 78% likey. 21% no likey.
Are you? Does this hurt your ego every time we do this, and every time it comes back, where you guys don't like Trackies, and everyone's like 80% we like them?
No, and that's what I was saying about at the start. So this is not. I'm not saying that I don't like Trackies. It's just I don't. People get really excited by them, and for me, it's just like they're all right. I mean, I just think they're very expensive for what they are as well. But they're just not my cup of tea. It's not that it's not an awesome coral. It is. It's just not my cup of tea.
Okay, well let's find out what your cup of tea is then.
All right, let me scroll on to the coral in question.
I've already got my dislike button at the ready.
Well, that's just as well. Pulsing Xenia.
Ah, this is interesting. You have gone for a curveball.
Hang on, get it back.
That is well. Why? Tell me why.
So this is kind of a bittersweet coral for me because I had this. This is my first ever tank, by the way. This was a 3-foot clear seal tank, and it was mostly softies with a couple of crappy SPS in there. But the Xenia was the one coral that I just kept, and this is everyone will say this. No, Paul, it is not a weed. Everyone will say this is that it's the one coral you see when you first get into the hobby that you're just like is mesmerized. And I could literally sit there in front of the tank for half an hour just watching the coral just gently do that and then swaying in the flow as well. It's just so fascinating, and even the color doesn't show up very well there. In fact, I'm going to pull back because you can see it around us, the photo. This is that coral. That photo is the same coral that I've just shown you in the video. The colors, some of it is quite boring, I think, colors, but this one in particular, that's the color it looked like, a deep, like a purpley pinky. So it's an awesome color. It spreads like an absolute bastard. And Paul, you're right, it is a weed. And the trouble with it is, what I found was, so on this rock that it was on, I could pull that rock out because I'd isolated it on an island because I'm I'm clever and I've read what
it doesn't work.
But it doesn't work for two reasons. One, because it'll drop a bit off and then it'll go in the flow and get on another rock somewhere.
Yeah.
And two, because when you pull that rock out to remove it, to trim it back, have you ever tried to pull? You must have done pulsing Xenia.
You can't pull it off, can you?
It's like oil. It's like trying to oil wrestle a sumo. It's like so slippery. What I found was I had to get a pair of like pliers, thick pliers, grab it, twist and pull to get it off, and that's how I did it. But because I didn't want to release toxins or whatever by cutting it. But
it's this is the problem. What criteria are we showing people coral today? Because you showed me a coral which I know you'd never ever put in your tank. But you're saying
that's my tank right there.
No, yes, of course, but your current tank, you'd never put it in there. So this
is the thing. There is no single criteria for me. This is just corals, and I'm going to be a hypocrite because later I'm going to show you a coral that is quite invasive.
Yeah.
And I don't have it for the same reason I don't have pulsing Xenia, and I'm going to tell you I don't like it.
Yeah.
But there's no real criteria. It's just really what this is, to be completely honest. I'm posting up the poll now. This is really just about seeing what people think about corals because I found it so interesting.
Yeah.
Seeing what people said. So
I reckon that this will not have a positive response in the. I don't know. I'm assuming it won't have a positive response. The Xenia that you have around you, around
unlikely
the screen,
instead of no likey. I meant, that's really stupid. I put unlikely. I meant no likey.
Well, anyway. people understand. That's the one I have, and I actually do like that Xenia. And I agree with you. It is mesmerizing. Yes, that's the one that's in the farm. The one that you saw, and it's like taken over half a tank.
Yeah, it's under blue light, so I couldn't really see it. That's another problem. It doesn't glow under blue at all. It's a white light only coral, really. So.
But it does add. Someone in the comments, James, just said you sell loads of Xenia. I sell a ton of Xenia. It's surprising how much Xenia I sell. But I always, when people come and collect corals, I always warn them. I usually say don't buy it. Sometimes I won't even let people buy it if they've got if they spent thousands and thousands on this insanely big tank. Jamie's Coral Reef is one of them. Or Jay's Reef Tank, I can't remember what his Instagram name is. He's desperate to buy Xenia, and I'm just like, you cannot have it. I will not be the person to ruin your tank. But it is a nice. I think it's a nice coral, but it's one of the only corals which genuinely is truly out of control. Like you cannot control it. So even Tropic Thunder, you can control Tropic Thunder with it. Like you put it on an isolated rock, you can easily snap bits off of it. Xenia does whatever it wants.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm going to end the poll, and it was 44% likey, 56% unlikely. So no one voted that they don't like it. Some people said unlikely, whatever that means.
So you win.
You guys are all idiots watching this. Bloody hell! What you're playing at?
Yeah.
So basically 50-50 I'm going with. I'm slightly surprised that I thought more people would love that, but to be honest, although I love it, it's an amazing coral and really beautiful. I wouldn't have it in my tank, my main tank.
No,
Even I
no.
wouldn't even have it in the Fluvilevo. I thought about it, but it's like,
You'll
it'd be awesome.
I was
It'd be
going to say
like the
you'll have
best
just
3
one.
months of your life would be
Yes.
amazing, and then after that, it's like so there are the two best days of owning pulsing Xenia are the day you buy it and the day you sell it.
The day you burn it.
Exactly.
It's Xenia even grows. You know, people say isolate on a rock. It bloody grows on the sand. There is no limits for Xenia as far as I'm concerned.
It's
So,
it
I'm not
is
liking
amazing.
all this
It's like
coughing. I'm not liking all the coughing you're doing, because if this is me tomorrow, I'm going to be really annoyed.
I feel absolutely fine. I just got a bit of a temperature and a cough, but it's fine. But anyway,
Yeah. My turn?
beginner corals are beginner for a reason.
Sounds very cryptic.
Yeah. Anyway, what's your next one?
I'm going to go for. I don't want see if I pick one of my other ones. I know I'll get a positive response, but I'm genuinely interested. The red and black Lobophyllia, because you hate the red and black Lobophyllia, and I like the red and black Lobophyllia. I'm still talking while you're coughing, so I'm trying to fill the gap in.
It's fine. I'm good.
I like the red and black Lobophyllia, and I'll be interested to see what people say. Have you made it look awful?
No. I just paused the video. So, the one thing I would say, and again,
no, don't say it looks better in the video, because you just said a minute ago you tried to get accurate photos.
I'm not going to say that. Actually, the next coral, this one, looks better in the video than it does in real life for some reason. I couldn't work out why. It was right 2 seconds afterwards, but this one, that is how it looks. Exactly. Yeah. The only thing is, because your tanks are quite low, so it's not like you're looking through 2 feet of water like in a normal tank. And this is all blue lights with an orange filter, but I promise you that's how it looks.
Yeah.
And so that is how it looks. And to be fair, actually, I liked it more this time around than I did before.
Yeah.
But still, it's blacky, bluey, grey.
I see, the reason I like this coral is because I've seen loads and loads of all different colors, but I've never, ever, ever seen one that's black and grey, or red and grey, or red and black, or whatever you want to call it. The one to the top left that you said doesn't look as nice, that one actually only came in, I think, last week. It came in on a shipment, and it didn't come in very happy. It was almost completely white, and now it's come.
So that's how it'll look in a month's time or whatever.
Hopefully, yeah. So that one's not on the website, because I don't sell corals if I'm not happy with them. And the black one, red one's on the website because I think it's too nice.
Yeah, you love it, don't get it. First off, we've got a super chat from James, the YouTube member, Cough Sweet contribution. Thank you very much. I actually tried to go and get a strepsil before, but I've run out. Yeah. Looks like big bristleworms, which is a great shout, Les.
What was that related to?
What, Cough Sweet?
No, the bristleworms, because I think Les's comment came in before the Lobophyllias came up. I think.
Well, I'm going to say your coral looks like. But anyway, so you love that because it's a bit unusual, right?
Yes, because it's a color I haven't seen. Remember, I see thousands of corals, so it's hard for me to go to see something new. When I see something new, I'm like, I become immediately attached to it, and I'm like, no one is having this. This is mine. So I've seen. Oh, sorry.
Oh, carry on.
As I said, I've seen them in all different colors, orange and green and pink ones, but I've never ever seen one that's that red.
Yeah. Oh, that red. Okay. So like the red is nice, to be fair. I like that. It's just that like the black to me is just a bit like it takes away from it. If it was just red, it'd be awesome. But and that's the thing, like but this is a great example of a rare coral, because that is quite a rare color, an unusual color anyway. And for me, rarity, for most of the time, rarity does nothing for me. The fact that it's rare, I don't really care about. But there are sometimes where that's not the case. But you're saying that because this is unusual, that's what gets you going, not because you love the colors as such.
As far as I'm concerned, there could be thousands of them. It's just I've never seen another one of that color, if you see what I mean. And that's what I thought it was. I thought it reminded me of Darth Maul. It's not because it's really expensive. You know how sometimes people want corals that are just crazy expensive.
Yeah.
That isn't one of those corals. It just came in a mystery box I received where you get loads of different corals, and I just thought, actually, never seen that before. Quite like that one, so I'll keep it.
Fair enough. I'm just going to post a question quickly. Going off topic, Zone FN. Since a Red Sea Reef for 250 is 55 gallons, does that mean you can keep the same fish and coral in a different 55-gallon tank? It's not 55 gallons. I think the display tank volume is what you want to measure, and it'll be less than that. But if you're just saying, can I transfer the same fish and coral to another tank that's the same size? Yeah, I don't understand why you wouldn't. But as you would in a Red Sea reefer. Oh, I think you've seen a Red Sea reefer with a load of corals you like, fish and corals you like, and you want to put them in your tank. I mean, yes, if they've made the right choices, but if they've got like a load of inappropriate fish in a Red Sea reefer, 250, then you might not want to copy people. But
true, yeah, true. Plus, if there's things you don't want, now's the time to get them out if you're moving them. Joe, I just remembered something when you said Red Sea reefer. I watched your video last night. You know how I never watch your videos? I watched your video last night, but wow. I have forgotten what it was about. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you anything that was in it. I just remembered because I did watch it last night.
Here's a tank update. So there you go. Well, because you've been mean to my videos, I'm going to end this poll here. Oh no! Damn it! 57% likey.
Yes.
No likey. 42%.
I think it's a good thing because obviously I pick so many corals for other people when I put them in the mystery boxes. People could watch this now and have trust in me that I don't pick shit corals.
Yeah, this is true. Okay. All right. I'm going to move on to... So you've just done a coral you like. Did I do a coral I like last time? I did. I'm going to do a coral I don't like. And this is potentially going to shock you. And I think this is actually a really popular coral as well. So without much further ado, I'm just queuing up the video. Grafted Montipora.
I like grafted Montipora.
I know you do. You got loads of them. So this is red and green. I know. Yeah, look, this is a purple and red that you really like. And there's another one next. I think there's another one next as well. That was there you go. This actually is that's quite cool because that looks like a hirsuta to me.
Yeah, similar. It's like a hirsuta and a sunburst Montipora had a baby. Yeah,
but I just don't get the thing with grafted Monties. To be fair, these video shots are slightly. A lot of these videos they look how they look to my eye, but it's slightly too bright. I should have turned the brightness down a tiny bit, and that's the case of this one. So this looks slightly brighter, but it looks the same. But that is a nice coral, and this is an example of a nice coral, to be fair. But for me, when they grow out, it's not really that much sexier than a normal red or green Monty.
That I disagree with. There's something that you need to do when you're buying grafted Montipora. If you get a piece which is just 50-50, if you see a piece in the shop and it's 50-50, you're going to get half a green and half a red one. It's not going to be all like spirally. If you get a piece which is it's not a great example one, but you see the one that's just not the mainly red one, the one just above that.
Oh, going back, sorry.
Yeah.
This
one. Yes, you see those three red bits, though they have a possibility of growing out as a red streaks in it. And that's the piece, those are the pieces that you actually want. I know you don't care, but if the choice is having
as much pieces I want.
If the choice is having just a red one or just a green one or just a purple one, which plenty of people buy, or you can get a grafted one, get a grafted one.
Fair enough. I just don't get it. For me, like because Monties, excuse me, Monties they take over anyway. Encrusting and plating Monties, and they're on my list of cars I don't like as well because they're so invasive. But I just don't. It's like, and the thing, it's not that it's not a nice coral. It's probably, to be fair, I'm probably not quite putting it right. It's marginally nicer than a red or a green one.
Yeah.
But they're like, I don't think yours are too expensive. But like when I've seen them before, it's like £1 million for a grafted Monty or £5 for a red one. And it's like, why don't I just get one red, one green and have them next to each other?
Yeah, true. I like someone's written these pictures from Prestige's shed. I am a proud garage seller. Don't call me a shed seller. Proud garage seller.
But yes, they are.
And someone said, is this a coral auction advert for Prestige Reef? No, because we're not auctioning them off.
I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah, so.
And actually, so a lot of the corals. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, it does show people what people get. So that piece there, if someone, I'm not saying you'd get that specific piece, but it's not unusual for someone to get that literally to get that red and green piece if they bought a grafted Montipora off my website. So,
but yeah, just for me, it's just I don't really get it, and I don't understand why they're so expensive because ultimately they're Monty, so they're fast growing, and it's like why? So just because it's a bit different, I don't know. But let's see how the poll is going. Oh, likey 57%. Do you know what? It's just as well you do mystery boxes and I don't choose them because I got terrible tasting corals.
And fish. Don't forget fish.
And fish, yeah.
So
I'm just a bad person.
It is. It is. I take it quite seriously when I pick corals for people. I try to pick different species of different colors. Like I actually try because my theory is if I just send a load of shit stuff, they're never going to buy from me again. So what's the point?
It's very true. All right. So that was. I'm going to end the poll because I think we're looking like likey 60%. That's quite close though, to be fair. 40% no likey.
That's closer than I thought it was going to be.
You thought everyone would love it?
I thought people would like it more. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on. And so in a second, when you've done your next one, I'm going to do the ones that the members have asked about.
Okay.
But you do your next one.
Okay. Mine's very much a blanket one. It's basically all hammers and all frog torches.
So all hammers, all frog spawn and torches. Are these like or
no?
Don't
all hammers, all frog spawns, and I hate torches.
So you like hammers and frog spawns,
yes,
but you don't like torches.
Correct. And I just thought it's probably best to group them all together. And people, they're actually not. They're not quite the same. I don't think.
These are torches you sell that you don't like.
Yeah.
No, I think they're the other corals are Euphyllia, and these are Fimbriophylia, I think. So they're different, which is why these sting and the others don't.
Yeah.
So do you know what? So tell us why you don't like torches.
I don't like torches. See, people already in the chat, people going, torches, what? Torches are they are horrifically expensive. And yes, I do sell torches, some torches to people, but it's like there's this hype about them, which is just seems unnecessary. As someone's written hype, I think. They just I just don't. I would let's put it this way. I like to try and be honest with people. I would never, ever, ever, ever buy a gold torch myself. Never. I just have no interest in it. And yet there is a dragon soul there in the middle. That's the dragon soul. I actually prefer that really bright green one on the left to rather than the dragon soul. But I feel sometimes that people want them. They do flow, but people want them just because they're £400 or You see what I mean? And I that isn't who I am.
Siobhan, so I've actually come around to your way of thinking with torches now, and I'm the same. I'm not bothered by them. And the thing is, the thing that bothers me most is the price, which is what Siobhan says. It's like in the hype, because you'll see like a dragon soul. That's an expensive coral. How much do you sell it for? 150, 200 quid?
No, they're actually £100 a head, but that one there has got 2 heads on it.
So that's 200.
Yeah, that's 200. Yeah.
So 200 quid for 2 heads. That's insane. And I'm not criticizing your pricing structure. And that's a fair price. But I'm just saying for that's the going rate.
I know.
It's just and some of the ones that are like the only corals that the torches that I really would like, like holy moly gold ones or whatever.
Yeah.
And they look awesome, but they're just so insanely expensive. They're like north of 1,000 quid for a single polyp, and it's like
I know. It's crazy.
Me. And it's probably going to die.
This is the other reason that I don't. This is why I don't like them as a seller. So torches are more finicky than a lot of corals I keep. There is a much higher rate of death from torches than any other corals. Like not necessarily in my tank, but in other people's tanks. I know a few people who have had total torch wipeouts, and they've got like 10 different types of them. And it usually comes down, they just lose one head at a time. I think it's a bacterial thing. But it's like, I don't want to be fighting something that I don't really know what's causing it. If you see what I mean, it's one of those things where, and especially if you just spent £400 and then it just dies and you have no idea why, it's just too painful for me. And sorry, I know I've just done a lot of talking, but this is what I wanted to say. As a seller, you don't make as much money as you think on the expensive pieces as the cheap pieces. So people go, oh, that coral's £200. You must make loads of profit on that. It doesn't work like that. It costs me a huge amount of money from the supplier, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's also, they're also actually often labeled as beginner corals.
Yeah,
and even I did a video recently with that was top 5 beginner corals that are actually difficult, and that was number 1. And like before I made the video, I was like, let me just make sure I'd make sure people do still think they're described as beginner corals, so I'm not just making stuff up.
yeah.
And there was a bulk reef supply video, admittedly from 2-3 years ago, but BRS video that said they were easy, and I was like, it was like their top 5 beginner corals, and I was like, I don't know about that.
It's just one of those things. This is the reason I'm sort of stumped. Everyone who comes to the coral farm, they walk in, they go, "Where's your torches?" I'm just like, why does everyone only want to look at torches? And as I said, going back to how we started, I actually think frog spawns and hammers are nicer than torches. They come in more color variety. They cut the shape of their polyps. You can get some really big hammers, some small hammers. You get some where they're half hammers, half frog spawns. There's so much more variety. Those pink ones are really nice, actually.
Top right, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you know, actually, so obviously I saw these yesterday. I'm not really asked about Euphyllia. So these are all different types of Euphyllia. I'm not that bothered. The pink one's quite nice, but the rest of them to me are a bit boring as well. And I want them. I want to like them, but I don't really.
I like them as really big colonies. So they were actually my first LPS coral. In fact, the top left, there's a frog spawn there. I think it's actually an octospawn. That single piece I've had for I think 13 or 14 years. So that had over 100 heads on it when I fragged it, and now I only have 2 pieces of it left. So people keep trying to buy that last piece of octospawn, but I won't sell it to them.
85% like torches.
Good, keep coming and buying them from me because I can get rid of them.
But okay, and you really like. We'll finish off. We'll do the poll for hammers as well, or Euphyllia. Yeah. So when you say Euphyllia, you mean hammer corals, octospawn, frog spawn,
hammer spawns, frammers, whatever you want to call them.
all basically all of these stuff. So there's so these are hammers, and is that an octospawn on the top? Or is that frog spawn?
I have to look at them. It's one of the 2. Yeah, I think it's an octospawner, but I can't be 100% certain without
that. Did I give you an octospawner or sell you an octospawner a while ago?
Possibly. I think you had one.
So that looks like mine.
It could very well be your one, if I'm honest.
Okay, I actually really like that one, to be fair. Hammer, frog spawn, etc. I think that this is going to be hugely popular.
I would say they would be one of the most popular corals in the hobby, rival possibly with like zoas and stuff like that. I reckon they're definitely the most popular LPS, hands down.
That's a cool one, to be fair. Although this is kind of cool for me. This is like the bits where that are like mixed green and blue or whatever that color that is look cool, but when it's just like you've got fields of this just blue, it's like that to me is a bit boring. Some people would love that, but
those are the frammers. So that's all one colony that you're looking at there. Now, when I sell the frammers, I don't sell the blue ones on the right. I will sell those separately as just purple ones, or sometimes they go into a mystery box or something like that. But when you're buying a frammer, you only ever get the ones where they're a blend, and they grow so fast. They grow incredible. I culture those. A lot of Euphyllia, they're too slow to culture, but those I actually culture.
That's cool. And you you like these, right?
Yeah, I quite like those. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see how the poll is going for. Oh, have I not done? No, I did do it. Yeah, 92%.
I told you. I knew they're one of the most popular sellers on the website.
I'm going to end that straight away because that's an absolute slam dunk. So it ended up at 90% like, which is massive. Okay, but I want to like them. They're just a bit boring. However,
boring.
They are. But what I do like and what I've got into particularly recently is a coral that I think is similar to but better than hammers and euphyllias and all that sort of stuff. Gonies.
Yes. Yeah.
Ah, look at that. Well, these are Bernard poras, I think, but
Yeah.
potato, basically.
Yeah.
So that's a glitter goni. So that is actually an actual goni. And then there'll be one of my ones next as well. It's a pink with yellow spots goni. I think someone told me it's got a name. Oh no, this is another one of yours. The one on the left, I think, is a bit boring, a bit blue or purple, but the one on the right is a nice green.
Yeah, it's true. And I like the one on the very right, which is the red one.
And this is my one.
I was gonna say, when I saw this video, I was like, I don't think that's one of my corals, so that's your one.
A lot of these videos, a lot of them are yours, but a lot of them are also my corals.
Yeah.
I just because I want what I wanted to use for a start. I wanted to come down and see your farm and your corals anyway. But I did think if I start posting photos that I'm googling on the internet of a coral saying I hate this, I might accidentally click on a photo of like a US coral farm or something. Inadvertently. So I wanted to use photos I've taken and videos I've taken.
Have you got the picture of the gold goni from my website? Because seeing the comparison now, it's like mind blowing.
So that one dead center of the screen is no longer available because it's in my tank.
Yeah.
And this is the one I keep banging on about. So that is how it looks. And this is, would you agree that I got that spot on?
That is a very accurate representation of exactly how it looks. In fact, all of those corals are exactly how they look.
Exactly. Not tarted up at all. And that's how it looks. And this is your excuse for a photo. It's a different coral.
I now understand why you get so annoyed that my pictures are rubbish. Look, I don't have a fancy camera like you, so maybe I should invest in one because I sell more gonies.
But this is the thing is, so with I just like good quality images. I'm just a nerd like with that sort of thing particularly. But gonies anyway. Hang on one
Imagine
second.
how happy people are though when they buy the other one and then that one turns up.
Well, this is very true. But why doesn't the dude take pics for your site? Because
I think you're the dude.
I am, and the dude can't be asked. It's a long way for me to go to take a few photos, as good a friend as you are. Yeah. But the thing with gonies, so the downside of gonies, and let me go back to
I like James's last comment.
What was that? I like Ryan's bad photos. Makes opening his deliveries much more entertaining. Yeah, every box is a mystery box. But this is one I bought recently from another hobbyist in Reading. And I think it's such a nice coral. But I've got into gonies more recently. I've always had problems with them, and I've always found, and it might be the same with these, you never know.
Yeah.
But I've always found them difficult to keep, and I find they're okay for a month or two, and then their polyps retract, and you never see them again, and then they just slowly wither and die over a couple of months. And what I've changed this time is I'm dosing manganese.
Yeah.
Which so Abbas, who was watching, has got a glitter goni, and he was talking to me about manganese ages ago. And his gonies look fantastic. Sean from Ocean Project talked to me about gonies as well, about manganese as well. And then there was a live stream talking about manganese as well. And I was like, do you know what? Because I've tried it before where I've dosed it manually.
Yeah.
But I forget. I'll do it 3 days in a row, and then I'm like, oh, I can't be asked. So I've now put it on a doser, 2 mil a day, and it's so far it's like a month in, so it doesn't mean squat. But I really like. Oh, goal! Is there a goal? Hang on. Is this England? Is this?
Are you watching the football while we're doing this?
I'm not, but I've got BBC Sport on. I'm presuming that's Paul. Oh yeah. I'm into football. Paul,
I'm surprised you didn't postpone this.
No, I didn't realize, to be fair, but I'm not that bothered. It's not the final anyway. But gonies, so the gonies I really do like, but it's just that they're just very difficult to keep. And even though this one is currently looking nice, having been in my tank for all of 4 seconds, I really, really hope I've nailed it this time. Because they're just so awesome.
They grow like crazy in my tank, and I don't really do. The only thing I do, obviously, I do dose. I do an ICP test, and I dose the elements that are low. But for some reason, they just grow like mad. I'm so excited.
Jordan Henderson, 1-0.
Yeah.
Get in.
I'm sorry, I'm with the Ocean Project.
Sorry, carry on.
I don't get it. It won't change my life. So
I try not to be distracted.
So
they grow like mad.
Yeah, they grow like mad in my tank. So those gold ones, and like the one you bought, is probably third or fourth generation by now. I've grown and sold loads of them.
I love buying third generation corals, as you well know.
The good thing about those guys as well is that they cover. When they turn up, it looks like they're only on half the frag plug because they're like smaller than the frag plug. Once they open, they cover the whole thing, don't they? So it's like nice to see.
Yeah. But I've been reluctant. I've never liked them before because I've just found them so difficult. But I think they have the movement that a torch has.
Yeah.
They are probably less aggressive than torches, although Bernard Poras, in my experience, are more aggressive than Gonies. But I don't know if that. Anyway, some of them can be aggressive, but the color variety is just vast, and there are so many different colors you can get. Much more variety than torches.
Yes,
torches, the gold ones are the nicest ones. That's it.
Yeah.
But with Gonies, I've got like a light blue one, I've got a pink one, I've got a gold one, I've got a red one. You know, there's so much variety. And because unless you put Bernards and Gonies together, I think they sting each other. Is that right?
I don't think you can keep Alveopora with them either, because I had one well aggressive Gonie that was far more aggressive than any of the other Gonies I've ever had. I don't know if it was like a different strain or something, but it was just really, really mean.
But this show, so there's an Alve to the left. Actually, Alveopora was on my list of corals I don't get it.
They're the same, basically. I actually prefer them because they're roughly the same. They're roughly the same, and they're easier to keep than Gonies Alveopora.
You think?
Yeah, definitely.
Easier, but
yeah. Look, you don't get the same level of variety in terms of coloration, but let's put it this way: most people can't even tell the difference. And to tell the difference, you've got to zoom in and go 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, you haven't. That one on the left is an Alveopora.
What about the one on the right?
Gonie.
Look, that is true. But for most people, they wouldn't notice that. Imagine if I moved that red one over to go to sit with the green and the purple one. That would look like a nice like little Gonie garden, wouldn't it?
Yeah, maybe. But anyway. So have I done the poll for that? Because I think this will be 85%. But it's just my frustration before is that I've not been able to keep them.
Yeah.
And now if I've worked out how to keep them, which remains to be seen, but if I have, it's going to be wicked because I don't have movement in my tank because it's all sticks basically. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll cross them off my list since you've done them.
Oh, well, that was on your list. Okay.
They were on my list. Yeah, they're one of my new favorite corals recently.
85% likey, and I think that was some low hanging fruit right there because most people like Gonies.
I'm going to go for one which I think I will lose this battle. I don't like it. I don't get Raja Rampage chalices. There are so many nice chalices, and Raja Rampage is just green. It's just green. Why do you want another green coral?
Right. Let me just wind on to your Raja Rampage. Here we go.
There, yeah.
So I think so that is a Raja Rampage right in the center of the screen.
Yeah.
And the trouble with corals a lot of the time when you're looking for hardy corals, they're either red or green.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going with this. It's such a common color. But to me, even that one next to it, that's not a Raja. What's that?
That's a Space Invader. no one has ever noticed that they're different, but you noticed.
Well, it's totally different, but I've got a Raja as well. But
that's a Space Invader. I like the little smiley face Raja Rampage on the right. I won't sell that.
Okay, until it loses its smiley face.
Yeah,
but I know that lots of green is really common, but that for me. And did I post my? I don't think I did. Oh no, I was going to post my video.
People want the Raja face. Look,
I want the Raja face chalice. But that's smiley face chalice. But it's such a nice coral, and it's not just green. For a start, it's a really bloody nice green, really nice, vivid, deep, bright, fluorescent green. But it's also got these yellow. How many yellow corals do you get? Hardly any.
Yeah,
and that's not just like, is that green? Is that yellow? I don't know. That is yellow as beep. And
do you have
the black outers.
Did you take videos of any other chalices from the farm? I don't know if you did. Because there are some there, but they're not like great examples, the ones that are next to it.
This is one of mine. So this is a Stellaria chalice that I got from Shut Up. that I got from Abbas, who's in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely there.
I posted it because this is a nice up close that shows you don't really get to see them like that. But did I? This is a chalice that would have been on my list of ones I don't like.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that really? What's it? Hollywood.
That was about 4 times the size of that piece. About, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. And I called Jamie and I just went, Jamie, I got a load of this chalice. Just come and take it away, because it just takes up too much room, and it also stings things. So you can see the corals that are just above it. They're actually like they're Hydronophora, and Hydronophora you can't see them very well, but they're just some frags there. Hydronophora are a powerful coral, and it just stings everything around it, even if it's not that close.
Raja Rampage. Oh, hang on. I'm doing it wrong. I'm just going to post a comment, and then I'll a poll, and then I'll come back to you, because I just think
that's all right. You know what's funny about that smiley face chalice? The Raja Rampage with the smiley face. The other day, someone bought a Raja Rampage, and I was like, I could send them this smiley face one, which is an appropriate size, or I could send them this bigger one. And I sent them the bigger one because I didn't want to send the smiley face, because I've grown attached to it's like, it's nice to see.
Fair enough. Excuse me. I did have a really good top-down video of my Raja Rampage the other day, but I didn't include it in this video because I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see if I can. Oh, bollards! I'm going to see if I can find it, because it was. This will show you, and that you're wrong, basically. And this will be if I can get it. Previous videos 236. Oh, best corals. Was it under best corals? Yeah. It was under best corals. 235. Best corals. This is. Oh, it's not there. It's still not there. Right. Okay. So that's why it wasn't there, because I couldn't find it. But anyway, all right. So let me wind back to the Raja Rampage, because that's what we're voting on here.
If I had a choice of just one chalice, that is not the one I would get. You can get gold chalices, which are not. I have got some, but they're not in this video, and I would pick those any day. I would pick. There's another one. I think it's Midas Touch. I think is what it's called. Which is Goldmeister, or one of them. I can't remember. They're all funny names.
I saw what I found myself doing when I went away and looked back at all the videos I'd taken from your place.
Yeah,
I found there were loads that I was like, oh, I should have taken a video of that. But I took videos, and this is what I do generally of the things that I like.
Yeah.
And I saw some of your other chalices, and I just don't. They're all right.
No. Like I just remember I got a watermelon chalice. That's nice. I've got some of those obviously crazy expensive ones, which again I don't see the attraction to the crazy expensive ones.
I'm glad you. So this one,
it's a Bugatti chalice. I just don't get it. And but I've sold probably 3 or 4 of those colonies, and they're like £1,000 each. But I don't get it. I don't understand why anyone want it. If you see what I mean, I'm actually pretty cheap. You're celebrating not because I said that I didn't want it. You're celebrating because there's another goal, I assume.
2-0. Yeah, I've seen people say 2-0. But I don't get with it. So with that is an expensive chalice, and for me, it's like, well, it's red and purple, and it's got some yellow eyes, but for there is no way that is better than that.
No. There's a chalice. I think it's called. I think it's a Goku chalice, which I actually quite like. That's a gold one. Okay,
but this one, so Sean called it the Hollywood Stinger.
Yeah.
It's aggressive, and this is a really common Hollywood Stunner chalice. Any time I see it in someone's tank, it's like this big. That for me is, you're talking about the Raja Rampage being boring. That for me is a boring green coral. It's just 2
I'm not
shades
saying
of
get
dark
that
green.
instead of the Raja Rampage.
But so then why are you shouting out the Raja Rampage?
No. I said no because Raja Rampage is one of those corals which I sell a lot of, and every time I sell it, I'm like this. Why don't you buy one of the other nicer chalices?
It's so nice. I love mine. I paid a fortune. Bought it from another hobbyist, and I love it. It's so nice. I think and when you look at it up close, it's like speckly and it glitters, and it's so nice.
I do appreciate it. It's one of those, it's like the jack-o'-lantern Leptoceras. Where you can see it from a mile away. It's like that. It's got that level of brightness. But again, it's just green.
So the poll finished 60% like, basically. But and Abbas says pink boobies chalice is the best. He's got one of these. Have you ever seen it?
I'm about to Google some pink boobies, so give me a second.
I know, yeah. It's that's a really nice chalice actually. That's a nice. Oh, actually, watermelon chalice as well. I've got a watermelon chalice. Have you got one of them?
I have got a watermelon.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I've seen. It says pink booby chalice. Do you mean normal boobies? So I've just clicked. You know, so this is what you meant. So I've clicked that. So give me. Okay. I might just give me a second.
Harry Kane scored, by the way, if you were wondering, Ryan.
I certainly was not. I don't even know who Harry Kane is.
First goal of the tournament. Shut up.
I have no idea who Harry Kane is.
Well, he doesn't know who you are, so how about
that? We don't know that. There's a lot of footballers that keep Reef Tank, so he might know me.
Maybe not. I kind of sell frags, but not really. I don't have a website. I sell them through Ultimate Reef, and I do it quite sporadically. And people always message me and say, "Can you let me know when you're selling corals?" And it's like 1,000 people have said that, so no, not really. So I do, but quite rarely. To me. I do sell them to you. I sell them to my local. If you live near Reefkeeper Moss End, I sell them to them quite regularly. So yeah, but no, not really. All right. So we've done Raja Rampage, and we're getting.
Oh,
excuse me.
1 second. He's just literally dying.
We're getting about what you've put your postcode. I'm Josh, mate. I'm going to. I can't delete that. Josh, don't put your postcode in the chat, buddy. How'd you get
I might come and break in and steal your reef tank.
But yeah, Swaddling Co. I used to live in Spondon, which is near Swad. Anyway, actually, one thing, jelly bean chalice.
Yeah,
that is one of the corals that was on my list. Was, and it's not really a coral; it's anything over £300. I can't. £300, and like jelly bean chalice. There's one at my local shop, Reefkeeper Moss End, and I nearly bought it this weekend.
Yeah,
because I had a bit of store credit.
Yeah,
and I was like, because that's the one that is really nice. But I was just like, it was £325. I was like, I can't spend £325 on something that big. It's just, and it's not like I had credit for. I would have had to pay half that in cash. So I could have afforded it. I had the budget at the start of the month, you know. But I can't bring myself to spend big money on a coral. I don't know what it is.
The most expensive coral I've ever bought for myself before the coral farm was, I think, £120. That was it. It was that. Really? That was like a rarity. It wasn't like I spent £120 on coral every week. It was like that was the most expensive piece for myself, and it was a Trachyphyllia. And it was a pink one. I think it was a pink
same
one.
Here, really. I'd say I paid $250 for a Dragon Soul torch, and I regret it.
That was from me, wasn't it?
No. I bought different torches from you.
Now, don't get me wrong. Look, I've got all sorts of coral. I've paid hundreds, even thousands sometimes for certain pieces. But those are for the farm. Those are so before the farm. So you know, like the bounce mushrooms and stuff like that. I never had anything like that for me. I'm like a really, really cheap reefer.
I'm the same. I'm with you.
I just don't get it. So, but I have to get it now. But this is what I mean. So when I set up a tank here, obviously, if I didn't have the angelfish, I'd be well happy with that black and red Lobophyllia. I don't want to fill it with gold torches. Like I have no reason to fill it with gold torches. I won't be able to sleep at night.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I do worry about stuff dying. So if I spent a load of money, £300 on a coral and it died, I'd be gutted. In fact, I spent £200 on a torch once, not that long ago, and it died like within a week. And I was like, so Alex spends more on equipment than he does corals. Do you know what? I'm doing a video at the end of the year that's going to be things I want to do next year.
Oh, like, God.
You know, my New Year's resolutions. And one of them is to spend more money on the corals than equipment.
Nice. I'm in. I agree.
I'm going to tally up how much money, because I keep a spreadsheet because I have to declare all my income for tax. So I'm going to tally up how much I've spent on corals and equipment. I actually don't think the discrepancy is as much as you'd think. Yeah. But I'm going to note it down, and let's say it's £1,000 for equipment and £500 for corals. I want to reverse that.
Nice. I will hand deliver whatever you want.
Sign me up. Well, yeah, and Sean's beating you to it. Sorry.
All of a sudden, the sharks, me and Sean, we're circling. We're like, oh, we can smell money.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, so I think is it you next?
Can't remember. Wait, what did
What I was going to say is it's
we did chalices, didn't we? I said Raja Rampage.
Oh yeah, you did. He does need a bigger tank. You're right. The thing, actually,
Yes.
one thing with my tanks, it's 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, which is a nice. It's my house. There's no space for a bigger tank, not unless I wanted to abandon my forthcoming marriage to Mrs. Reef Dork. But the what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I'd actually be a little bit scared of breaking that tank down because it's at 4 years old. It's quite easy to look after. You always think it's like on a knife edge. You say. I find actually I can leave it and neglect it reasonably, and as long as the water changes and all this sort of stuff, it's all right. When I would be scared that if I shut down a tank, that I would take a long time to get it looking as good as it does now. Because some of my corals took literally 2 years to even color up or grow.
Yeah. 2 years of suffering.
Yeah, like your videos. What I was going to say is that we're going to make this an hour and a quarter live stream today.
Yeah,
because I'm struggling a little bit. So exactly, yeah. So that's what we're going to do. Did I end the poll? I think I did end the poll. Cool. Right. So my turn. In that case, let's go for something controversial. This might not be controversial, to be fair. And I'm going to use a website, and this is Abyss Aquatics, and I like Abyss Aquatics, so I hope they won't mind me using their photo. Although it's not loading, so no, I'm not. But this is a lot of people will hate this, as it will hate me for saying this. Milk a stylo.
Yep, I hate you.
Really?
Well, I just don't look. There are so many. It's an easy SPS coral. It's a great. It's a pain in the ass to frag because you can't. It's so it's like rock solid. But there are so many nicer. Like if you want a coral that looks like that's better. Go for any digitata.
I don't know about that. But what the reason I don't like it. So actually, for a start, let's pick. This is a better Reef Brothers photo. Top down. The purple color of that is beautiful, and on the face of it, it's a really cool looking. In fact, here we go. What's this? Reef bum. Reef bum. Yeah. So
is this a coral you like or don't like?
Don't like.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you. But what I'm saying is, so that is a beautiful coral. The polyps look a bit different. But weirdly, those polyps are like they look like kind of pocky polyps or hystrix polyps to me.
Yeah.
And that's like the difference between a beginner SPS coral polyp and an advanced SPS polyp, coral SPS coral polyp.
Yeah,
they just don't look so appealing to me. But on the face of it, it's a nice coral, lovely color. You always get those little white growth tips on every single one.
Yeah.
But let me find. This is the best example of a photo of this. It just grows bolt upright.
Yeah.
And you always get this white mass. It grows really fast, and you get this white mass where it shades itself out. And it just looks for the first 6 months, stunning coral, lovely.
Yeah.
After 6 months, it gets huge. Half of it is white because it looks bleached. It's not, but it just looks like it's half dead. It looks rubbish, and it's not like a pleasing pattern. It's just all not branching and nice. It's all just straight up. I just don't get it.
We don't like it for different reasons. Like most SPS, I can use bone cutters to cut, and you can
they're tough. Yeah,
they're really really tough. They're like glass, not like glass. They're like it's hard to describe what they actually are. It's just they're so hard. yeah, like bone basically. But you can't look. Don't get me wrong. You can use bone cutters, but it's not like fragging a digi where you can just cut through it like it's butter. They are.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say I posted the poll, but and this is a coral that some people absolutely love, like old school reefers in particular. But I think it's coral that looks awesome for 6 months and then awful after that, and it grows so fast. And like you say, fragging it is difficult because normally, like with a Monty, for example, you'd get the clippers in, grip it, and then just twist the clippers, and it'll break off.
Yeah. Oh, you can't do that.
It'll break your arm off before it breaks the coral. It's like, but so I'm interested to see what people think though, because it is a nice coral.
We ran out of time, and there's a few good ones like Tropic Thunder Monty. I wanted to know people's opinion on.
All right, well, I'm going to end that poll now then, and that's at 70% or 68% like, which is pretty good going actually. So most people do like it, and I can't really argue with that. So All right then. What's what was your next one you want to do?
I said I want to go for Tropic Thunder Montipora, or basically any of the encrusting Montiporas. So you get Sunset Montipora, which I think you've got a video of my sunsets. And you get Jingle Bells and all sorts of crazy names. Season's Greetings.
So this was my Tropic Thunder Monty before I pulled the rock out and destroyed it. And so you don't like this, right?
No, I do. I don't like it for me, but I do like it for other people. I think all of those. If you show that's not a great picture. There's a picture of the sun.
What the hell? That's mine.
I know, but it's not a great picture. There's a Sunset Montiporas of mine somewhere in there, which there's Season Greeting, there's Sunset. Those ones there are Sunset ones, yeah. So they're all the same. They're all like encrusting and they get out of control, as you can see. So, but I think that they're actually great corals for some people, just not for you and not for me, because you can see they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So Tropic Thunder and this, I have this coral in my tank as well. And in fact, excuse me, it's so worthwhile showing this that I'm going to take a few seconds to find the video of the sunset. For a start, Sunset Monty is a lovely coral, really nice, deep red base with bright green polyps. Really, really nice. I changed my lights again.
I think you're colorblind. We played this game yesterday. Did you know it's got a deep red base?
Yeah.
Sunset Montipora's got a really orange base with green polyps. And ask the chat.
Right. Okay. I will. Do you know what? I will ask the chat. Thank you very much.
Show that picture that you just had up a minute ago, and ask them if it's orange or green, because I can assure you it's bloody orange.
I'm not going to do a poll. That's red.
That is not red. You're about to find out you're colorblind.
It's like, I know what.
That is about as orange as you can get with green polyps.
That's orange, Ryan. I'll have you know.
Let's just wait for the comments.
That's red. Can you see the difference? Look closely. You'll see it.
Look, orange and green. Everyone's saying orange. You've just realised you're colorblind.
It's not orange. Pale orange. It is. No, you're all dickheads. Everyone else is colorblind, not me.
It's funny. We played this game in the farm yesterday, and Alex was like, "I really like that nice yellow thing." I'm like, "That is not yellow."
That's not orange. It's kind of a tiny. It's not a deep red, I guess, but
it's
anyway,
not red
all
at all.
It's blue. It's blue. There we go.
Yeah.
Fine. Well, so all right, I'm colorblind then. Well, that's good.
Cool. Your whole world's come crashing down all of it in one live stream, hasn't it?
But yeah, but this is why I wanted to show this particular video because, and this is let me play the video. Oh, actually, let me put it on mute. Oh, this is so amateur. Right, there we go. So this is a prime example. So there is my Tropic Thunder Sunset Monty on the left, green.
Yeah. Yes,
and that is. This started off as a 1-inch frag.
Yeah.
And that is enormous. Look how much it spread. And even under here, it spread all the way back there. So it's gone underneath a rock where it's shaded, come out the other side. And on the rock in the middle, it started to grow up the base. It is an awesome coral, but there will come a day when my house is covered in Sunset Monty.
I think I'm now colorblind because that's not an orange and green coral. That's an all green coral.
No, that's green. Yeah, you can't. On mine, the polyps are so thick
you can't
see the base. But and then on the right as well that's an LA Lakers Monty, which is massive.
Yeah,
I took this out recently, and then behind it is a Tropic Thunder again.
I think we've just realised why we have. You know how we have different views on different fish we like, different views on different corals we like.
Can't see what they look like
because you can't see them.
Yeah, maybe. Well, let's start a poll. What are we going for? Encrusting Monties?
Yeah, let's go for encrusting Monties. Because I used to love encrusting Monties. It's just if you don't sell them quick enough, they grow out of control.
I do love. This is a coral that I love, but it would be on my. Excuse me. It would be on my hate list because of that. Because it just grows like crazy, and it takes over. So it's just like.
I reckon. I really think that this will be. I might be wrong, but I think this will be a popular one. But
I would expect it to be because I think it's one of the nicer Monties, and it's quite a relatively easy Monty as well. I think.
Yeah.
We're relatively close. 61% likey, 40. Oh yeah, okay, so 60-40.
Yeah, but some people we also have to remember that it's an SPS coral. Not everyone keeps SPS. A lot of people are still frightened of SPS, so maybe that's why it's not as done as well as we think.
Dork's new microphone edging in there. Is there something? Is this microphone coming in the shot? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Alex, that light setup is something you should stick with for a while. One of the best combo setups on the market. Oh yeah, so that's my Castle with Reef Bright, and I will be sticking with that.
I don't like it.
So yeah,
too much shimmer.
Like no,
I'm just joking.
That's what you sound like.
Yeah.
So all right, well let's have a look and see how the poll is going. I'm going to end it there because it's 60%, 60-40. Like most people like it basically. All right, and someone's just said Gold Rush is nice, and Gold Rush is probably the nicest in my opinion.
I agree.
Of the encrusters, but I find mine just is very difficult to keep. I found it grows and it dies, and it just comes back from the verge of death and all that. So
there's one coral which I know is on both of our lists, which we are going to get slated for. Do you know what it is?
No, excuse me. What is it?
Acans.
Oh yes, great.
Micromusas is the official name of them. But everyone knows them as Acans. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to pull up. First off, this is one of my Acans. This is my copper band ate this, or I believe he did anyway.
Yeah,
it's green, and this is the thing. So this was sold as a pink dragon with like bright pink strips in it, and the pink bits were where this white is now, and it's like it lost its color quite easily. And I'm sure that's because I had like too high light or whatever.
Yeah,
but all Acans are basically either red or green. So this one is green. The next one, which I'm going to come on to in a sec, and actually this is my nice Acan, but it's just red with a couple of bits of blue. And
I haven't found that they're all only red or green because I actually do have different colored ones. But they're one of those corals that people love, and I just don't get it. Like, they just don't do it for me, basically. And I think that they're a coral which does better if they're fed as well. And I like things, and we'll come on to the other coral which does better if it's fed. I like easy corals. I like corals you put them in and they grow out of control, and you just leave them there within reason. But they're one of those corals that if you got to go around feeding your Acans or your micromusas, then they're not one for me.
They're just and maybe it is because, and Sean's saying sub 50 par. And maybe it's because I'm cooking them too strong, which in my tank is entirely possible. But I've always in other tanks. I've switched on to one of my next ones. But I just don't get Acans. And the other coral I had on this list was Holy Grail Micromusa.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna Google this. I'm gonna make sure
red and green. They're a combination
red
of
and green. It's red and green. Which let me find what website this is on. Is that Reef Build? Reef to Reef. Perfect. Okay, so visit website.
Oh, Sean is not going to like my opinion in a minute.
So to be fair, this is a nice looking. This is a nice looking Micromusa Holy Grail, but that is a tweaked photo. No offense to the person who posted it, but basically there's green in the middle, there's red on the outside. That's it. And these sell for like £4 billion for half a polyp. It's like, I just do not get it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of expensive pieces that sell for a lot of money, what's your next one? Because I just saw it.
I'm not going to do that yet because we need to vote on this yet. Because Acans, they are really popular, and Acan is not the kind of coral that I'm saying that there we go. I'm not saying that it's a crap coral. I just don't. It's actually. It's probably made lists of my top 5 best corals before because it is a nice coral. It's just they're just not for me.
They don't do it for me either. And also the other thing is they are like the number. I like risky fish that might potentially not reef safe, and Acans are the first thing to get eaten almost every time. They're like candy or sweets for English people. I spend too much time with Americans. They're like sweets for fish Acans basically.
Indeed, I'm back. Indeed, I just the other thing with them is I find they're quite difficult to keep with the right colours.
Yeah.
So like, so as in like, because even if so Sean says sub 50 par, and that's not many people have tanks with that low. I've kept them in low par spots before, and it's like they still just look rubbish. But so maybe it's just because they're different. I don't. I'm not a fan of Acans.
Your lights are very white, I think, compared to most people's lights.
You always say that.
Yeah, it's true. But I don't know. I think maybe your corals look better, like the Acropora you have look better under whiter light. Then again, I've never seen them under blue, so I don't know.
Some do, some don't. But okay, so I've ended the poll with Acans, and we've ended with 76% liking, which is no surprise. Yeah, so there we go. So that's not really a surprise. What else have you got? Actually, no, that was your one, wasn't it? Have I got anything? Yeah. Oh, do you know what? This is going to be one I can't work out if I love or hate this next coral. And Sean, I already know likes it because he saw it, and I've lost his comment now. But he saw it. Tenuis.
Nah.
So this, I have a love-hate relationship with Tenuis. So that is a. Would you not say that is a nice coral? It's a tiny fragment.
Don't get me wrong. That is a nice one. It's just most people don't keep corals like you keep corals. Most people have brown Tenuis or dead Tenuis.
But the thing with this one is this is a macro lens, okay, it's a long macro lens, so it gets really close to it, and that's not how you see it to the eye. The next clip, this is how you see it to the eye, and that's you can still see the colours, the yellow, but it's like you're like this, you're like.
That's why. So those sorts of corals are for the extremist reefers, where they're like this. I've just literally just made that one. I've just invented a new term.
I know what you mean.
But they're like the ones where like you're at your tank with a microscope going, oh, I can just see that. There's a bit of purple there and a bit of pink and a slight hint of yellow, whereas most people would never even notice that.
And this is the thing, and this is why I have a love-hate relationship with them. Firstly, in my experience at least, they grow very slowly. And secondly, this one actually is looking quite nice, to be fair. You've got to look close. And when it grows in like 35 years' time, it'll look really nice. But for now, you've got to look really close at it. And it's like, if I look across my my living room, my jack-o'-lantern Leptoceras stands out a mile because it's so stunning.
Yeah.
That one you can't even see. So, but I still enjoy looking at it and looking up close. And I think there's nothing wrong with having some corals that you think are nice to look up close and some from afar. But I just I hate the prices of Tenuis. I hate how difficult they are to get coloured up. Because this one has not looked as nice as polypy as this since I got it. It's only been recent. And I've had that for at least 6 months, probably 9 months. And you can that's on a small frag plug. It's only just beginning to base out over the frag plug. 9 months.
See, I would have an all Millipora tank. I love Millipora.
Yeah, I do like Millis, yeah.
But I don't get Tenuis. Like, it's not that I don't get it. They're very rare. It's very rare to see them in their full potential. And as you said, it took you 6 months to get it to look like that. So, and you've got to keep it alive for 6 months to get it to look like that, if you see what I mean. But whereas Millipora, you can you put them in your tank, half an hour later, they got the polyps out. They're happy.
Got their polyps out. I think that most people are gonna not like Tenuis.
I think,
and it's one of those ones on my list that's and it's one of those ones on my list that's like, I do like it, I genuinely do, but it's like, if you told me I could never keep another Tenuis again, I'd be all right with that. I'd make my peace with that.
Do you want to know a little secret as well about Tenuis? You know how you get some really like named high-end fancy Tenuis? A lot of the corals when they come in from Indonesia, they just need to be colored up. So you might get one for sure that is like a tiny piece, and you pay a lot of money for it. Or go to your local shop when they get an Indo shipment in on the first day. You want to get it the first day, just in case the shop doesn't know what they're doing. Get some orange glasses. Put the orange glass on, and then you can see more of a better potential of what the coral can be, even if it doesn't look like that to your eye now, and then color it up. That's the best way to buy them, I find.
But then color it up.
You hate wild corals.
Well, I do, but the statement, you find this and then you just color it up. Just color it up. Like what it's like what? Because just put it in your tank and then give it a week and it'll be coloured up. Colouring up a Tenuis, a drab, half dead Tenuis as well is difficult.
I know what you mean, but let's put it this way: one of those high, expensive 1-inch frags is going to turn brown anyway when you put it in your tank, probably as well. So it's and you can get a whole colony for a fraction of the cost.
Okay, so speaking of get them out, where's Ryan's biceps?
I'm never doing this because every week you get so much engagement about my biceps, and I don't even know how this became a thing.
I know. All right, and you talked about millies. I've got this. I think this is a sunset millie.
Yeah.
Is that a video? Will that play? It is a video. So you don't really see the polyps because it's the flow's off. But millies are really nice. That's a lovely coral. Really glows brightly.
They're just as the variety of them as well can be just as diverse as it's not 100, not really like really close to the amount of Tenuis, but you get some amazing different coloured millies. You
don't get them so with Tenuis you get like 10 colours in one coral, which you don't tend to get with millies, but it's not like you can get some lovely millies. And do you know what? I thought about this guy earlier. I was like, 3-0, get in. I was thinking, how is he going to shoehorn in a comment about whale sharks? And he's not here. And I miss him actually now. I didn't really get it before. Now he's gone. It's like, come back.
Yeah.
But so Tenuis, did I put the poll up for Tenuis? I did.
I don't know.
I'm going to end that poll there because it's 62% likey. So just about people do like it, but I couldn't work. Did I put this on my like list in the end?
You weren't sure.
No, I put it on my don't like. I put it on my don't like list actually.
That's because you were too far away of it when you were looking at it. You get closer and you're like, yeah, I like it now.
It's nice. You go on.
Oh, actually, no. I've got a few. I've got 4 left, but I don't know if you want to go through them quickly or because I don't want you to die on stream.
What you got? Yeah,
Okay, so I got 2 that I like, and I'll go through them quickly, and then you can talk about what one you want. I got the jawbreaker mushroom or the Stylophora are the ones that I do like.
All right, let's do one at a time.
Okay.
So
also, Zoas need an honourable mention as well, I feel.
100%. Zoas are on my list. So is this? I'm not really a mushroom guy.
That is not a jawbreaker. That is an electus mushroom.
Right.
That's the mum and the baby next to it. But
that's a Recordia?
That's a Recordia Florida, yeah.
Is that?
That is a Yuma Recordia.
Okay. So I don't have one of your whatever they were called. What was
you
it?
Don't have, no. Oh no, you don't. Well, so jawbreakers and electors are very similar. So you go back to the electors. They're almost identical. There's just a slight color tinge between orange and green.
Okay, so what was going to be on my list was the bounce mushrooms. Someone
has just bought a gold Goniopora, and I wonder if it's because they saw it. I'm almost certain they saw it on this. If you're in the chat, say hello. I'll email you later.
Yeah. But so what was I going to say? So okay, so you like this coral?
I like those mushrooms a lot. They're hardier than jawbreakers. As I said, those are electus mushrooms. They're hardier than jawbreakers, but they're very similar. And I think that for color, I know you're probably what color see that's red. What color are you seeing that as? Purple?
Shut up. That's red, and that looks red and goldish to me. I called it red and green yesterday. I was being unfair.
Whereas I think it's more of a goldy color than green.
That is red and gold, to be fair, and that is a nice coral. It's just I just don't like mushrooms.
See, I could have a whole tank, not a whole tank, but a whole section of a tank of those and be happy. I like those a lot. And I just hope that the angelfish doesn't like eating those a lot because I definitely want to have one of those in the
To
tank.
be fair, in my Fluval Evo, they would go nicely, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I don't dislike that. But the bounce mushrooms, I do not get at all. But because they're like again, these are another like if you're trading oil, you can probably afford a bounce mushroom.
Yeah.
But if you're a normal billionaire, you've got no chance. I mean, they're just they're just like I don't understand. It's just because like some of the ones like the one that I've got a photo of it. I bought the right to a photo of it for a thumbnail from some guy on Instagram whose name I forget, famous reef photographer. But the one that was I think it went for £10,000 or something. Did you ever see
that was an OG bounce, but that was one of the original OG bounce mushrooms.
That's it. I'll see if I've actually got the photo still. Oh, I don't think I have. But that was.
Sorry, I thought you were looking for something. I was just say Pelagius Swim was in the chat. He was one of the people. So he doesn't like mushrooms, but he's also one of the people that doesn't like torches. He has no interest in torches.
There you go. But yeah, so so that one in particular, and actually I'm going to Google that because it's just such a cool coral that it needs to be shown. What was it called? OG bounce mushroom.
Yeah, one of the OG bounce mushrooms. Yeah.
OG bounce mush.
I've seen them. They get like this size, like the big OG bouncers, and they can be like a nice signature piece if they're nice ones. But I bought them because I thought I could make money from them. And you do make money from them, but then I kind of lost interest in the fad of them, if you see what I mean.
Fad is the right word.
Yeah.
I can't find a good photo. I can only find massively overexposed photos on forums and stuff. But it's just that one does look cool. And the one that sold for $10,000, unsurprisingly, was a cool coral. But generally, a bounce mushroom just for me is like, so what? It's deformed. It's cool, but it's like just not interested.
It's because it's yellow. Again, you don't get that many yellow colors, I don't think so.
Okay, well, so what do you want to do? You want to do bounce mushrooms or what was the other one? Electus.
I went for jawbreakers. So jawbreaker or electus would be the ones I like, because at least people have seen those, so they know what they look like.
Is that the one I just showed, the golden red one?
That red and red. Yeah, that's an electus.
Okay.
But the thing about that one, that's like the goose that laid the golden eggs. That mum, the big one, has given me, I think, 4 or 5 baby ones.
Okay. And let me just get that back up on screen so you know what you're voting for. It was this one.
Yeah.
But most people probably know what an electus is. It's just that I'm the one who's a pleb when it comes to mushrooms. So
I'm keeping that baby for myself because if the mum's producing, like, if it ends up being like its mum and I can have 2 producing, then it'll be well worth it.
Fair enough. I'd happily say electus, this electus are beautiful, whereas bounce are just ugly.
Yeah.
I think I burnt myself out with Acropora. Also, the only one that appreciated them was me, lol. Oh, inadvertent bicep flex. I'm going to have to watch that back. Thanks for flagging me. What timestamp is that? 1:22. Right, good. I'll put that in the little timestamp. So
you're all so weird.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? All right, let me have a look and see how this, and mushrooms are meh. Completely agree. Well said, Pelagius Swimmer.
They're not just any mushroom, though, are they? They're not any mushroom.
Do you know what? 52% likey, 48% no likey.
I am absolutely amazed because that is a stunning coral.
I'm surprised, but
I'm not saying you'd want it. I'm not saying you'd pay the money for it, but that's a nice looking coral. One step close. Oh yeah, last week they asked for nipples. So if you don't remember that, I do.
All righty. So 1 second. Have you got any more that you really want to do on your list?
No, literally the last one on my list is the Stylophyllia. That's the last one, and then I've got one which I hate, which is Scollies.
So, let's do Scollies then. Because I've got a couple of Scotties. So there
I don't have any Scotties. But I don't like them.
This is my war paint that I got about 3 years ago. When I bought it, it was half dead, 90% dead. I paid 50 quid for it because it was almost dead, and I fed it back to health, and now it looks like this. It's healthy. It's looking good, and that is a slightly exaggerated photo. That's taken with an orange lens, same camera, same lens setup as yours. But on this one, that isn't quite a true representation. That looks
well exaggerated there where you've paused it.
Yeah, that is a bit nicer than it actually looks in the flesh. But it's still a really nice coral. I bought another one that was more expensive, and this was disappointing because this one, you can just about see the orange. When I got it, it was like gold, and then within a month, it had changed to orange. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's a shame.
I just look. This is what I said at the very beginning of this stream. These are our experiences with them. Any coral which do better if you feed them, and as you said, you fed it back up to health, didn't you? The war paint.
Yeah.
I don't want to be feeding it. I don't want to be feeding it.
And that's why they let it go for 50 quid, because it's pain. And it took me 18 months, by the way, to get it back to health. It was a hassle. But I'm surprised you don't like Scollies. I think they're lovely.
Look, they're nice. They're nice to look at, especially the wall paint and the bleeding apples are nice to look at. But I just don't want one myself. I don't want. My experience with them. I had one die. I think they like slightly cooler water, I believe is what I was told. But I don't know how accurate that is. And the other one, I think I have sold some a little while ago. I sold some, but I put one in a tank and it stripped within 24 hours. And I think it had too much light. And I had two at that time, and then I moved one. Make sure yeah. Oh yeah, you know that gold one that changed to orange. You sure you just didn't look at it?
Maybe I got hit on the head. I came downstairs one day. But and masters are breathtaking. So yeah, I've seen a couple of nice ones, but I've never seen like a master in the flesh. But they've got like a load of colours, and
you got one behind you on the wall. That's a master.
I have indeed. Yeah, it is actually. That's true.
You've also got one of those red clownfish on the wall behind you.
Yeah, I have. But I think you're likely to lose that vote. Let's have a look. So 87% likey.
As I said, if it's a coral that gives me hard work to do, I don't want it. It's as simple. And I said, it's not that they're ugly. It's not that they're not nice. I just don't want them. I don't see like this personal preference.
Fair enough. So Ryan's not a fan, and let's have a look and see how the chat is going. So I've started my colour blindness.
See, I like tracking better. Yeah, see.
All right. Well, we're going to end it basically 90% like.
That was a big loss for me.
It was a heavy loss, and I've ended the poll. There it is. Right, poll, copy and paste. Okay, so I'm going to do one last one because I'm flagging.
Is it no?
And this is no, it's not actually.
Okay, it doesn't matter anyway.
But it's one that I know you won't like. But this is a coral that I love more than anything. Acropora. Not this one in particular, but that's a really nice one. I think it's a rainbow loo, maybe a paletta pink tip, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a lovely Acropora, and this is under blue, so it doesn't quite look its best, but that's a strawberry shortcake. For me, that's my favourite coral. It's like I've had it 5 years before this tank, and it's huge, and it's just so pretty. And just basically any acros. The next one is a Pikachu, a European Pikachu. I discovered.
That's a nice. I like that.
Yeah, now you go. What colour is that?
Gold. Or it's like yellow or gold.
I would say yellow. Good. Okay.
Apparently, it's just orange. You can't say.
I know. Yeah, exactly. It's just orange. But there you go. So acros, and this is the thing. I went down my list of corals I like, and I was like, just basically, I could have listed 10 different types of Acropora, 100 different types.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love acros.
We can't do stylos. Like someone just said, do stylos. We can't. He's gonna die. But we like stylos, so it's all good.
Okay. Pora, likey, no likey. But I didn't really get into acros until later because they don't move, obviously.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, I had as I said, it was an all SPS tank, but I don't get that feeling for them anymore now. I don't know why. I think that we go through stages in reefing. I think there's a point where you're like that. I like the golden yellow one. I don't really. That's just green.
That's porn. That is. Look, it's got.
That's just green. Just like the green pieces next to it on the right, and the green zoas, and the green whatever that is at the bottom.
You're such a philistine. Acropora is the pinnacle. There you
go. I know that. So. Experienced reefers like Acropora for different reasons. If you show a beginner reefer what is your favorite coral in this shop, no one says Acropora. You like the difficulty of them. You like the fact that they aren't invasive.
I don't think it's not just the difficulty. That's possibly part of it, but I just think they're just the pattern. I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you what it is about them. I just think they look incredible. And I actually like it when they're easy to keep. But I just love acros. They're just so awesome. But let's see where we're going then, because we'll do zoas and then we'll wrap it up. So I'm going to finish it there. 73% like. Good lads, well done, well said.
We don't have to do zoas. We don't have to. I can tell that you're done.
I know. I want to do, but I said this thing is I'm flagging a bit, but I like this. I enjoy it. And the reason I did this, even though there was football on, is because I like doing this. So
there's so many as well that there's so many ones that aren't mentioned. War corals, Stylophora, Favias, they're all nice corals.
There's millions of nice corals, and that's like what I said at the start was any coral in good quality, good water conditions looks stunning.
Yeah,
more or less. But so these are scrambled eggs, and what I was going to put on my list was the corals that I like are like this, Utter Chaos, and the bright basic ones, Utter Chaos, Sunny D, scrambled eggs, Rastas. They look stunning, and they're cheap, and they grow quickly. They're desirable, so they're easy to sell and frag. But the corals I don't like, zoas I don't like, when they're like £500 a polyp. Excuse me, they're 500 quid a polyp or £1,000 a polyp, and it's like it's that expensive partly because it's likely to die, and funnily enough, because this is what it's like with the Tenius, but with those corals, with a colony of scrambled eggs, you look at it across your room, it's bright, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
With the like £2,000 single polyps ones, you've got to look up really close to see the detail.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it. It's like
there is if you're buying those zoas, you have to buy them to sell them, basically the expensive ones, and you have to sell them quickly because with zoas the price of them plummets rapidly. Zoas suck. I have some zoas I really like in the farm, and I have some zoas that I absolutely hate. Pandoras are a nightmare because they just grow like crazy. And there was, if you go back to the Electus picture, I will show you one of the worst pallies there is. Those blue ones. It's that one there.
To the right.
Those, I think they're called ice giant pallies. Those ones. Oh my god! Like a week later, you got like a 50 of them from one polyp.
But like you say, the price plummets. This is why I really like the classics.
They don't plummet.
No, they stay because they're just so coarse. They always stay. You can charge 20 quid for a few heads or whatever. I don't know what you do, but they will always maintain roughly a fair price. And this is like a tiny frag of my colony that I stripped out recently.
Yeah.
But they're so awesome.
It's only the really expensive ones when I remember, I think I paid like £120 for some pink diamonds when I had like one polyp of pink diamond, whereas pink diamonds are now like £20. And you have to sell them quickly, because if you wait until you've got 10, by the time you've got 10, they're now worth £50. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's going, I've just spent £500 or whatever on this zoa. I want to make my money back as quickly as possible. Yeah. I better sell it at a discount.
But that's what it said. But this is like, these are Rastas. There's a terrible video actually of these, but it's not in the focus. But things like Rastas, and the next one is Sunny D. they never go out of fashion. It's like a little black dress.
Yeah, you wear a lot of those, do you?
Well, only on the weekends. But yeah, Zoas,
you with me at the weekend.
Yeah, well, this is true. You can't not like Zoas, and it's looking good. 76%. Ooh, a lot of people don't like Zoas. Interesting.
It's higher than I'm surprised that people prefer Scollies to Zoas. I'm very surprised by that.
Yeah, interesting.
I'm hoping the angelfish doesn't eat Zoas as well. Anyway, you want to?
But you can test that because they're it's not like it'll take you 10 years to replace Zoas. No,
true.
They'll grow back quickly. Fake climb chilies. Do you know what? I bought a colony of fake climb chilies recently because they were awesome, and they were on a big disc, and they were growing off the disc
from you.
You did, because they were growing off the disc, and I was like, do you know what? I'll just frag the bits off the edge, so then I've got space, and then I'll keep that. So I fragged the zoas off the edge quite heavily. I cut back half of it. Like a day later, it had doubled in size and it was covered again. I was like, oh, they grow so fast. Yeah. And I ended up stripping it back to like 90% of the colony was gone, and it was still growing back too fast. I was like, I just couldn't keep on top of it, so I sold it to you.
Yeah. So it's now my problem.
It's a lovely zoa. It's just that because it spreads, it wasn't for me, and I was gutted because I wanted to keep it on this little island. But let's see when where the poll is at. 75%. Well, I'm going to end the poll there. 75% like, 25% do not like. Now, ordinarily, we would have another half an hour of stream, but I have well and truly flagged.
Yeah.
So I am going to wrap it up early. But thank you very much for joining. As always, everyone. We didn't have such a great turnout because of the football, I suspect, today, but still 160 people. That's quality.
That's pretty good.
I really enjoy these live streams now. So we'll do something similar next week. If you've got any requests for stuff that you want us to vote on, then tell us. But anyway, I'm going to leave you in peace now. Thank you for joining, Ryan, and I will catch you all another time.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye, guys.